Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Malak Yahushai. Second, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Today in this cold cut, we will be addressing the 23 mass shootings that occurred in January 2023. Right? For those who may not have heard, hey, all hell's breaking loose, right? To put it shortly, it is not a good sign. Well, it's a good sign to us, right, to the Israelites, for those that are waiting for the return of the Lord. But for those who may love Babylon, perhaps you may have hope in America, this is a terrible sign. It's good to us, right, because we've been praying for the destruction of Babylon, right? Why? Why do we pray for the destruction of Babylon, America? Right? Chiefly, we're being oppressed. That's Jeremiah 50 and 33. We're being oppressed day in and day out. We have to pay for taxes. We have to work then dusk to dawn. We're seeing our people be afflicted. This is not a beautiful place for our people to be in. All right? So we pray to the Lord for a swift and speedily delivery. All right? So we're going to dive right into it and show Israel. All right? We're going to dive into the Gun Violence Archive. Let's get it. Now this link is going to take us to this website, which is gunviolencearchive.org, and it documents and records all the recent shootings of your month, right? Today, we're going to be addressing January's, and you have 23 so far. It's getting bad. It's only going to get worse. These shootings is bad. You understand? All hell is going to break loose. And it's going to continue to break loose, I would say. You have some in Cali, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. 2 more in Cali, Illinois, Mississippi. 2 more in Louisiana, another in Cali, Texas, Florida, another in Cali, another in Florida, another in Illinois, another in Texas, Florida, Arizona, Ohio, Minnesota, so on and so forth. These are calamities. This is sedition among men. All right, we're going to prove that by bringing out the scriptures. So, nobody can say, well, I didn't know, nobody warned us. Well, that's why we're the watchmen for Israel, right? Watchmen for Yasharallah. All right, and being a watchman means we have to address the things that we see afar off. Because the Lord even tells us to do that much, right? That a wise man will foresee the evil. And that's what we're doing by digging into the prophecies and staying up to date in these times. So you gotta view the source and view the incident. It takes you to the direct link of whatever channel or network recorded it. All right, this took us to KTLA, 3 dead, 4 wounded, and shooting near Beverly Crest short-term rental. This never happened in the 60s and 50s and 70s and 80s. Just mass shootings back to back. These things never happened, right? But now we're seeing it, bloom and blossom day by day. That's because sedition is among men. All right.
After a deadly shooting early this morning.
3 people have died, another 4 left fighting for their lives in a hospital. KTLA's Aaron Myers is live at the scene where investigators are still working to determine what led up to the gunfire. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you both. We know this investigation is being handled by the Robbery Homicide Division, and detectives are out here right now. You can see the scene is still active, and we're told the shooting happened in front of a residence. And when we got here, there was also a small group of people here, so we are trying to find out if there was some type of gathering or party taking place. But what we know so far, though, is the shooting occurred in front of a home located on the 2700 block of Ellison Drive, not far from Arby Drive. 3 of the victims were in a car when an unknown suspect opened fire, firing numerous rounds. All 3, 2 males and a female, were struck by gunfire and pronounced dead here at the scene by the fire department. 4 other people were shot as well. They were standing outside of the vehicle, 3 males and a female, all 4 said to be in critical condition.
Hey man, this happened in Beverly Hills. Ain't gonna damn well sure, or it's very possible that it can happen in a neighborhood towards you. Right? Or your local city. You understand? Now, we understand on a low level, you have shooters on the block here and there. But these are what you call mass shootings. In other words, they're shooting people in mass. Multiple people, right? This isn't gang violence. This isn't any gang affiliation and, just how you get into a gang, or this is just straight up slaughter. This is 2 Esdras 15:10. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. Right? Now, understanding the scriptures, we understand that sword isn't always necessarily speaking of a sword, right? I have the definition. Sword, a weapon with a long blade and a hilt and a handguard, right? This is a primary definition, but when you really see the scriptures for what it is, you understand that it's speaking about just a weapon in general. That's why it tells us, right? Military power, violence, or destruction. You understand? It's steel. And what are guns made out of? Steel. This is the modern day sword. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. If this doesn't sound like modern day times, then I don't know what does. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And this is going to happen on a bigger level, further in the future. But nevertheless, these little incidents, so-called small incidents, this is what it's building up to. This is what it's going to build up to. All right, to the point where they're going to lock down cities, and all hell's going to break loose. All right. Sirach 39:26. Now, on the contrary, this is not to say, and a scared Jake can tell them, drop your guns and, just completely have faith, which you do have to have complete faith. But that's not to say, you can't, just be foolish, be confident in a plain way. That's not what I'm telling Israel, right? Because surely the scriptures will tell us that iron is one of the chief things of life, or the principal things of a man's life, right? Water, fire, iron, and salt, flour, wheat, honey, milk, the blood of grapes, and the oil of clothing, right? So, iron is definitely necessary. So not everybody on earth may have an actual blade-like sword, but they'll have like the modernized sword, which is the gun. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't let it put a spirit on you, or you're just not being excessive with it. Even Israel, we got our swords from the heathen. Same thing today. All right, we get our swords from the heathen. That's 1 Samuel 13:19. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, let the Hebrews make them swords or spears. So, whenever it comes to guns, this is the spirit of Esau and how he moves. But for brothers in the truth, you got to move in this spirit. You have to be righteous with your guns and your weapons to protect your family. You shouldn't want to get it just to play around with it, just because you just like guns. No, it's a tool for protection. You understand? Now, of course, everybody's going to have their hobby and such, but, this isn't anything to really play around with. So, Israel's been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, and now you're updated on the news that's going on around the world, or at least America. And this should encourage you to stay up to date on what's happening. So with that, I'm going to bid Israel Shalom.